Good afternoon everyone. Myself Professor Swapnil S. Sudke of SND COE and Research Center Evla. I am working as Assistant Professor at Electrical Department. Now, today we will discuss the subject of electric and hybrid electric vehicles. This is the elective subject of the final year of the BE Electrical Engineering. In this elective subject, now we will discuss the unit number 2, that is energy storage systems. In this unit number 2 of this elective subject, electric and hybrid electric vehicles, we discuss the topics and covered in the one lecture. The topics to be covered are battery based and fuel cell based energy storage systems and its analysis. Now we will discuss and cover these two topics in detail in this lecture. Now, first of all, we will see the point, that is battery based energy storage systems. In the environment, there are various types of energy storage systems. Out of that, we see the battery based and fuel cell based energy storage systems in detail in this lecture or online video lecture series. First of all, battery energy storage systems, that is BESS, have excellent records and are used for decades in power systems. Because battery based energy storage systems, that is BESS, having the excellent results and outputs to the consumer or customers whenever they use the battery based energy storage system as well as fuel based energy storage systems in the power systems or their other applications in our day-to-day life. Now, suppose we take some examples for the understanding of the battery based energy storage system. Now, this paper describes a methodology for a monetary value analysis of the BESS for load leveling, control power and peak shaving applications. That is, battery based energy storage systems are useful in various applications like load leveling, control power and peak shaving applications. This point we take this point from the research paper. Now we discuss some question and answers related with the battery based and fuel cell based energy storage systems for the better understanding of this point. First of all, first question is that what are battery energy storage systems? The Battery energy storage systems are based on secondary batteries that can be charged and discharged many times without damage. That is, these are the chargeable and dischargeable batteries which can be recharged and discharged many times during its lifespan or its use. The batteries are electrochemical devices and they store energy by converting electric power into chemical energy. That is, batteries or cells stores its energy in the form of electrochemical device as a electrochemical device and convert its electric power into the chemical energy. Then the second one is that are batteries the future of energy storage? Yes, the batteries are obviously the future of the energy storage systems, or the fuel cells are the future of the energy storage systems for the various applications in our day-to-day life as well as in the electric and hybrid electric vehicle systems. So, batteries have already proven to be a commercially viable energy storage technology. The BESS are modular systems that can be deployed in standard shipping containers. Until recently, high cost and low round trip efficiencies prevented the mass deployment of battery energy storage systems. That is, in the recent applications, the batteries or cell based energy storage systems having the high cost and low round trip efficiencies prevented the mass deployment of battery energy storage systems or fuel cell based energy storage systems. Now, the third question is that what is the business case for battery energy storage or fuel cell energy storage systems in the market? Now, since batteries and cells energy storage systems are proven to be excellent and very remarkable mark on the market or industry and in our day-to-day life, therefore it is also useful for the business case. The business case for battery energy storage differs by application and by use case. That is, the business case for the battery energy storage and fuel cell energy storage systems differs by the 2 points, that is application base and its use base case. In this we see the point that is prosumers, that is producers and consumers. It is also called as demand supply of the battery base as well as fuel cell based energy storage systems. It can be calculated by the payback period of a home energy storage system from the spread between the cost of producing and storing rooftop solar power and the cost of purchasing electricity from the local utility. That is, prosumers means the producers and consumers, that is generation and demand graph about the battery energy storage and fuel cell energy storage systems in the case of business line for the battery energy storage and fuel cell energy storage systems. Now the next point is that working of battery based energy storage system. The battery energy storage systems work by converting the DC energy being produced by your solar panels and storing it as AC power for later use. The higher your battery's capacity, the larger the solar system it can charge. That is, higher the battery or fuel cell based energy system, that is storage system, the higher is the solar system it can charge. Ultimately, solar batteries do the following. That is, the battery based or fuel cell based energy storage systems, it can be work with the coordination of solar cell or based energy storage systems. Now, for the better understanding of this point, we discuss some question and answers for the better understanding of this topic. First question is that how battery energy storage systems work with solar. Solar power has become more affordable, accessible and popular in the United States than ever before. That is, the United States of America uses the solar power which is connected with the battery based or fuel cell based energy storage systems, since it is more affordable, accessible and popular in that countries. At Sunation Solar Systems, we are always looking for new innovative ideas and technologies that can help us solve problems for our customers. That is, the Sunation Solar System is easy to accessible or interfacing with the battery based and fuel cell based energy storage systems, or its working is easy with the battery based and fuel cell based energy storage systems, and we can generate the innovative ideas and technologies by using these battery based and fuel cell based energy storage systems with the solar based energy based storage systems. Then the next question is that what are battery energy storage systems? The battery energy storage systems are rechargeable battery systems that store energy from the solar system and provide that energy to a home or business. Because of their advanced technology, battery energy storage systems store surplus energy produced by solar panels. That is, main source of battery based and fuel cell based energy storage systems is the solar panel or solar panels. The power of your home or business off grid and provide emergency backup power when needed. That is, we can also take the power for the battery based and fuel cell based energy storage systems from the grid system also, that is power grid or utility grid system. Then the next question is that how do they work? The battery energy storage systems work by converting the DC energy being produced by your solar panels and storing it as AC power for later use. That is, the battery or fuel based energy storage systems stores its energy in the form of DC, that is direct current, from the solar panels or the grid, that is electrical grid system. The higher your battery's capacity, the larger the solar system it can charge. Ultimately, solar batteries do the following. Now we discuss the one by one point of the solar batteries. First is charge. During daylight, the battery storage system is charged by clean electricity generated by solar. Then optimize. The intelligent battery software uses algorithms to coordinate solar production, uses history, utility rate structures and weather patterns to optimize when the stored energy is used. That is, it uses the optimum level of battery energy or fuel cell energy system. Then third one is discharge. The energy is discharged from the battery storage system during times of high usage, reducing or eliminating costly demand charges. So when we use this battery based or fuel cell based energy storage system, that time its stored energy will be discharged after some time. Now, when you install a solar battery as part of your solar panel system, you can store excess solar electricity instead of sending it back to the grid. If the solar panels produce more electricity than what is being used or needed, the excess energy goes towards charging the battery or cells, that is fuel cells. The electricity will only go back to the grid when your battery is fully charged. And electricity will only be drawn from the grid when the battery is depleted. That is, when batteries and fuel cells are fully charged, that time this electricity again going towards the utility grid or the power grid system of the electricity. Then the next question is that what is battery analytics and why it is important? The battery storage systems are an essential component of the energy sector. However, they are complex systems that require special attention. The primary goal of storage owners is to maximize the profit possible from the storage system without taking on additional risk. This is where battery analytics comes into play. Therefore, the battery analytics is very important in the energy storage systems. That is both battery storage and fuel cell based energy storage systems. Analytics is important in our day-to-day life and its applications. Then advantages and limitations of battery based energy storage system. First point is that advantages of battery based energy storage system are as follows. Now we discuss the advantages of battery based energy storage system one by one. First is it has a high specific energy. The battery based energy storage system having the high specific energy. Next one is it has light weight. The battery based energy storage system having the light weight than the other energy storage systems. Then the third is it having high life cycle. That is the battery based energy storage system having the high life cycle during its lifespan. Then next one is it having the low cost. The battery based energy storage system having the very low cost than other energy storage systems. Then next one is it is easily stored and doesn't damage under most normal circumstances. That is battery based energy storage system is useful for store the energy in a very easy manner, and it does not damage the device or other devices in most normal circumstances. Since battery based energy storage systems having these advantages, it also having some limitations in our day-to-day life. The limitations of battery energy storage systems are given below. First one is costly. Some battery energy storage systems are very costly because when we connected large amount of batteries or of big size batteries in a large quantity, its cost will be going high. Then next limitation is that it needs battery management system. The battery energy storage system needs the battery management system during its lifespan or in our day-to-day life use. Then next one is no established system for recycling. The battery based energy storage systems having no any recycling system for its long life and easy use. These are some limitations of battery based energy storage systems. Then applications of battery based energy storage systems. The battery based energy storage systems is having lot of applications in our industry as well as commercial and residential agricultural fields. First one is peak shaving. In traditional electric bills, anywhere from 30% to 70% of the total cost could be from demand fees. This means that the electric is being sourced and or used during peak times when it is more expensive. That is, the electricity is used in its peak times when it is having more expensive in that period. Then using battery energy storage means that energy can be stored during times of lower demand to be used later. That is, it having the lower demands for its use after some times. Then this reduces cost without reducing the amount of energy that consumers have access to. So it can reduces cost in some applications also for the consumers or customers of its use. Then next one is load shifting. The second application of this battery based energy storage system is that load shifting in the electricity or electrical grid. The load shifting is the charging of batteries during times when electricity is cheapest or from alternative sources like solar, and the use of this energy later when sourcing it directly would incur additional expenses. This goes hand in hand with peak shaving and is another way that battery energy storage saves money. In the load shifting application, the battery based energy storage system saves some money of the customers as well as its generation unit or location. Then next application is that grid services. For large scale consumers such as businesses or for communities, battery energy storage can make grid services a possibility. That is, it can also provide the grid service to the consumers. By banking the energy culled from sources like solar panel arrays, these storage solutions can power large corporate or commercial operations or even entire communities. Then battery energy storage systems also allows for ease of scaling when it comes to grid use. Then microgrids can be installed and increased as needed, making this a great option for growing businesses, communities and more. So, due to the battery based energy storage systems providing the grid services to the consumers also produce the microgrids for growing the businesses, communities and other many applications. Then smoothing out renewable energy integration. For many companies and communities, integrating renewable energy sources like wind and solar can be tricky. When you are used to relying on the stability of traditional fossil fuel derived electricity, dialing that reliability back to that which comes from renewable sources can be detrimental to everyday operations. However, using the backup energy available through battery-based energy storage system, it can make integrating them easier by providing additional energy to help and get consumers over the hump. That is the battery-based energy storage system smoothing out renewable energy integration. Then the next topic of this subject is that fuel cell based energy storage systems. For the better understanding of the fuel cell based energy storage systems, we see some question and answers related with this point. First one is that what is a fuel cell battery? The battery is an energy storage device and it's stored within the battery itself. The battery will cease to produce some, that is battery discharge in a secondary battery. The fuel cells concept of source to the electrodes. That is the fuel cell concept is uses from source to the electrodes side or level. Then the next question is that what is the base structure of fuel cells? The base structure of fuel cells electrical energy is the base structure of the fuel cells. That is the electrical energy is the basic structure or the basic source for the fuel cells. The basic physical structure of a single cell anode and cathode on either side at the electrodes to produce an electric current. Then next one is what are the benefits of fuel cells? The fuel cells have several benefits over conventional combustion based technologies currently used in many power plants and passenger vehicles. Then the fuel cells can operate at higher efficiencies than combustion engines and can convert the chemical energy in the fuel to electrical energy with efficiencies of up to 60%. That is, the fuel cells can operate at very higher efficiencies than the combustion engines, and it can convert the chemical energy in the fuel into the electrical energy with the higher efficiencies of up to 60%. Then what are the products of a fuel cell? A fuel cell uses the chemical energy of hydrogen or another fuel to cleanly and efficiently produce electricity. If hydrogen is the fuel, electricity, water and heat are the only the products. That is, if we use the hydrogen as a fuel for the fuel cells, then the electricity water and heat are the products of that fuel cells. Then what is a fuel cell? Means the fuel cells require a continuous input of fuel and an oxidizing agent, generally oxygen, in order to sustain the reactions that generate the electricity. Therefore, these cells can constantly generate electricity until the supply of fuel and oxygen is cut off. Despite being invented in the year 1838, fuel cells began commercial use only a century later when they were used by NASA to power space capsules and satellites. Today, these devices are used as the primary or secondary source of power for many facilities, including industries, commercial buildings, and residential buildings. That is, fuel cells are mostly used in the industries, commercial buildings, and residential buildings. Then a fuel cell is similar to electrochemical cells, which consist of a cathode, an anode, and an electrolyte. That is, the main components or parameters of the fuel cells or the electrochemical cells are the cathode, an anode, and an electrolyte. In these cells, the electrolyte enables the movement of the protons. That is, the movement of the protons can be occurred in the electrolytic solution of the fuel cells. Then types of fuel cells. Some types of fuel cells are discussed in this subsection. These are the polymer electrolyte membrane PEM fuel cell. These cells are also known as proton exchange membrane fuel cells or PEMFCs. The temperature range that these cells operate in is between 50 degrees Celsius to 100 degrees Celsius. Then the electrolyte used in PEMFCs is a polymer which has the ability to conduct protons. That is, its requirement is that to conduct the protons in the electrolytic solution. A typical PEM fuel cell consists of bipolar plates, a catalyst, electrodes, and a polymer membrane. Despite having eco-friendly applications in transportation, PEMFCs can also be used for the stationary and portable generation of power. The next one is that phosphoric acid fuel cell. These fuel cells involve the use of phosphoric acid as an electrolyte in order to channel the H plus ions. That is, this phosphoric acid electrolytic solution will channel the H plus ions in the fuel cells. The working temperatures of these cells lie in the range of 150 degrees Celsius to 200 degrees Celsius. The electrons and electrons are forced to travel to the cathode via an external circuit because of the non-conductive nature of phosphoric acid. Due to the acidic nature of the electrolyte, the components of these cells tend to corrode or oxidize over time. Then next one is that solid acid fuel cell. A solid acid material is used as the electrolyte in these fuel cells. The molecular structures of these solid acids are ordered at low temperatures. At higher temperatures, a phase transition can occur which leads to a huge increase in conductivity. That is, at higher temperature, a phase transition can occur in the solid acid fuel cells and which leads to a huge increase in conductivity. The examples of solid acid fuel cells include CsHSO4 and CS2PO4, cesium hydrogen sulfate and cesium dihydrogen phosphate respectively. Then next one is alkaline fuel cell. This was the fuel cell which was used as the primary source of electricity in the Apollo space program. In these cells, an aqueous alkaline solution is used to saturate a porous matrix, which is in turn used to separate the electrodes. That is, an aqueous alkaline solution is used to saturate a porous matrix, as well as it is also used to separate the electrodes in the alkaline fuel cell. The operating temperatures of these cells are quite low, that is approximately up to 90 degrees Celsius. These cells are highly efficient. They also produce heat and water along with electricity. That is, the alkaline fuel cells are highly efficient and also produce heat and water along with the electricity. Then next one is solid oxide fuel cell. These cells involve the use of a solid oxide or a ceramic electrolyte such as yttria stabilized zirconia. These fuel cells are highly efficient and have a relatively low cost. Theoretical efficiency can even approach 85%. The operating temperatures of these cells are very high, lower limit of 600 degrees Celsius. Standard operating temperatures lie between 800 and 1000 degrees Celsius. Then solid oxide fuel cells are limited to stationary applications due to their high operating temperatures. That is, the solid oxide fuel cells are limited to the stationary applications due to its high operating temperatures. Then next one is molten carbonate fuel cell. The electrolyte used in these cells is lithium potassium carbonate salt. This salt becomes liquid at high temperatures, enabling the movement of carbonate ions. Similar to SOFCs, these fuel cells also have a relatively high operating temperature of up to 650 degrees Celsius. The anode and the cathode of this cell are vulnerable to corrosion due to the high operating temperature and the presence of the carbonate electrolyte. These cells can be powered by carbon-based fuels such as natural gas and biogas. That is, the molten carbonate fuel cells can be powered by carbon-based fuels such as natural gas and biogas. Then, working of fuel cells. The reaction between hydrogen and oxygen can be used to generate electricity via a fuel cell. Such a cell was used in the Apollo space program and it served two different purposes. It was used as a fuel source as well as a source of drinking water. The water vapor produced from the cell when condensed was fit for human consumption. The working of this fuel cell involves the passing of hydrogen and oxygen into a concentrated solution of sodium hydroxide via carbon electrodes. The cell reaction can be written as follows. First reaction is the cathode reaction, is like this: O2 plus 2H2O plus 4E minus will produce the 4OH minus ions. Then anode reaction is that 2H2 plus 4OH minus will produce the 4H2O plus 4E minus. Then net cell reaction is the addition of this cathode and anode reaction is the 2H2 plus O2 will produce the 2H2O molecules. However, the reaction rate of this electrochemical reaction is quite low. This issue is overcome with the help of a catalyst such as platinum or palladium. The catalyst is the substance which does not involve directly in the reaction, but it increases the rate of the reaction or the speed of the reaction of the electrochemical cells or fuel cells reactions. In order to increase the effective surface area, the catalyst is finely divided before being incorporated into the electrodes. Then next point is that applications of fuel cells. The fuel cells having lot of applications in our day-to-day life and industries, commercial, residential and agricultural areas. The fuel cell technology has a wide range of applications. Currently, heavy research is being conducted in order to manufacture a cost-efficient automobile which is powered by a fuel cell. A few applications of this technology are listed below. First one is fuel cell electric vehicles or FCEVs. Use clean fuels and are therefore more eco-friendly than internal combustion engine based vehicles. They have been used to power many space expeditions including the Apollo space program. Then generally the byproducts produced from these cells are heat and water. The portability of some fuel cells is extremely useful in some military applications. Then next application is that these electrochemical cells can also be used to power several electronic devices. That is, the electrochemical cells are used in the providing the power to the various electronic devices. That is, it is nothing but the application of the fuel cells in the electronic devices and industries. Then next one is fuel cells are also used as primary or backup sources of electricity in many remote areas. That is, the fuel cells are used as a primary or backup sources of electricity whenever in the energy or power is required in the remote areas. Thank you.